And yes, we're back again for a Pioneer deck and checking on some of the recent tournaments that was done. I think last weekend was the regional champs held in various locations, but I think this would be just sort of an update for the Pioneer metagame as we check on what will be the top finishers, what archetypes were there, and we'll try to sort of align this kind of build that we are going to feature in this one. So this deck is really cool. Initially, you can see here the core card strategy of this, which is the Niv Mizzet Reborn. This was piloted by Mikita Charnyaksky. I think this is from a Russian local tournament, but still I checked that what got my interest in this build is not only going with the Omnat Locus of Creation strategy, but also going in the long game with card and board advantage using Niv Mizzet Reborn. So this version would be that of the March of the Machines Multiverse Legends. If we check Niv Mizzet's ability on this version, it is a 1 mana of each color, that's 5 colors. In a 6/6 flyer, when it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of the library, and for each color pair, choose a card that's exactly of those colors among them, and then put the chosen cards to your hand and the rest of the bottom of the library in your random order. So you can see that the deck initially has a lot of 2-color combinations, which is quite interesting as compared to that of a typical Omnat domain deck. But at the same time, we still get to see why these cards, or we have a lot of basically one-offs that we're going to use in this deck. Now for the card type breakdown, we have 15 creatures, enchantments is 8, including the new card of the Beanstalk, 9 instants, sorcery is 11, 2 planeswalkers only, that's Nahiri and Teferi Hero Rimraya, and 35 lands in the main deck, along with of course the 15 card sideboard, while also utilizing the Yorion Sky Nomad as its companion. Now what's it goes with as to why not only going with the Niv Mizzet ramp or curving out with the 5-color to cast a Niv Mizzet Reborn, is that we also have several card support here, according also to of this ramp creature that can also sort of a defender and hexproof by say. The card is called a Sylvan Caryatid. It is a 2/2 cast 0/3. This is from Teros. It can add mana of any color by tapping it. At the same time, it becomes a defender by say because of 0/3 that can block creatures with power lesser than that, and also hexproof, which means that any early spot removal cannot get rid of this card. So that means that having this on turn 2 basically can get you to ramp up to turn 4, turn 3 Omnat, for example, if there are no any hindrance whatsoever. So that it means that you can have this one can also get you to use a turn 4 Niv Mizzet Reborn. So in any given scenario, a turn 2 Sylvan Caryatid would be very useful in this kind of deck. So we have 4 copies of this, so make sure that we can have the full value of it. So several one-ups here, including Bulky God of Lies. It has also the ability that can exile a creature card that's revealed from your opponent's hand, and then you can pay X to choose the creature card exiled and become a copy of that card. And can also flip this, cast this on its other side, that is Tibalt Cosmic Impostor on the late game. So it also has several abilities that can basically get you a board advantage. And along with it, we also have a copy of Selfless Fever. This is more of a support utility creature. It can be sacrificed or it can be exiled to have your creatures you control indestructible, or you can cast this for this version, the Deadly Vanity, that's 8 mana, choose a creature or planeswalker, and then destroy all other creatures or planeswalker. And that, we also have a copy of Elish Norn, Mother of Machines. This is also one of copy here that can prevent the permanence your opponent's control that's in the battlefield, does a trigger, and also having your permanence in the battlefield causing the trigger to trigger an additional time. So that with your lineup for the creatures, we check on maybe a core part of this deck, that is the 4 copies of the Beanstalk. Whenever it's the battlefield or whenever you cast a spell of mana value 5 greater, you will draw a card. So that way, that only that you will gain advantage of the Niv Mizzet Hardcast But also, while setting up for that one, you can also card draw and free card draws later on with this copy of the bitstock in play. And also along with it is 4 copies of Lens Binding, a pseudo default card component for the domain kind of deck, because it just becomes a 1 mana cost and conversion, but it's still considered a 6 mana cost in CMC and can also trigger up the bitstock for this kind of deck. Now for your instance in this deck, as considered by Niv Mizzet's ability, we have several color combinations of cards that are multicolors. So we have 2 copies of Rock Decay as an uncounterable spot removal for non-permanents with converted mana cost 3 or less. 2 copies of Growth Spiral as a sort of mana ramp and also card draw effect. 4 copies of Vanishing Burst that can exile monocolor permanents. I think this would go with the matchup, especially mono red or mono white decks. And also a copy of Quelga's Command, a sort of a utility creature that can also be dig up by Niv Mizzet. For that is for your instance. For your sorcery, we have pretty much a lot of spell removals and mass removals here. We have 2 copies of Red Boar for the black-red color combination, 1 copy of Fincrayon for the Boros or red-white. We have a copy of Murmured Ego for blue-black. It's unusual to have this one, but can be very relevant in some scenarios. We have a copy of Ascension Event for mass removal, a copy of Stream Verdict also for mass removal that can be countered also, 4 copies of Bring to Light. So this can also have you to converge, wherein you can search library creature instant sorcery card with mana value less than or equal to the number of colors of mana spent to cast this. So basically you can search that Niv Mizzet if you are of 5 mana. That's the complete version of the 5 colors, so that's 5 mana in total. You can cast that card without paying mana cost. So basically Bring to Light can also garner you a copy of searching Niv Mizzet from your library and casting it for free. And I forgot to mention the other version of Niv Mizzet. That's also the only 1 copy in the deck. That's Niv Mizzet Supreme. That is also 5 to cast for 5 mana, 5/5 flying hexproof, monocolored, and each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. That's exactly 2 colors as jumpstart. So there's also another benefit of giving your instance jumpstart from your graveyard. In that setup, we take a look again at the Planeswalkers. So Nahiri the Harbinger is red-white color combination. This ability can +2. You can discard a card if you do draw a card. You can also exile top artifact or top creature and also enchantment. And you can have the ultimate -8 ability to search for your library for an artifact or creature and then put it on the battlefield and then shuffle your library. It also gains haste and return it to your hand, dropping your next end step. So any of those creatures here can be searched up by Nahiri's ultimate ability. And Teferi again, Hero of Dominaria. This is a version wherein you can go with the control ability. You can just +1 to draw a card and then untap up to 2 lands. And then the -3 would also put a target non-permanent to install your ability third from the top, and the -8 ability that can be able for you to get an emblem that whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent and opponent controls. So that goes with the late game or the control matchup. If you develop your board but hasn't won yet with Niv Mizzet, you can use then Teferi's ultimate ability to go for that route. And of course, here are the lands. You can see a variance here. There's a lot of one-offs, especially covering all of these colors. So we have black-red here, blue-black. This is the full Fable Passage for the basic land fix. That can also trigger Omnat. That's 4 copies. Basic lands, blue-white, again black-white, blue-white again. So that's so on and so forth, including also some of the triumphs and we also have a mana confluence and some of the old check lands here that is Robert Crown, and from Capena, Thai lands that is Sparse headquarters in the right. So that's for the main deck, and we check on the mana curve. That's averaging 3.49. It's very mid-range-ish mana value in an average, given that you have a lot of 5 mana cost here and 4 mana that can be casting for more of the by turn 4 or turn 5, as you can see here. But early on, we have basically a lot of 2 mana value cards in the main deck that can go well in controlling the board or doing a counter spell or hard counter effects before your opponent can also develop their board. And last but not least, for our card distribution, it's pretty much for green, it's even. Blue also is pretty much aligned as well as black. Black is 22 with the producers of 19, 23 for white, and producers 22. Red is 25 and 14 for the cards in the main deck. And for your sideboard, just a quick rundown. We're just having some specific color houses such as Shading Valley, the Wind's Veto for any other blue-white control matchups that this spell can be countered. Lavinia also can trap your opponents from this ability. Master as your sort of additional card draw effect. Rest in Peace for Graveyard Shenanigans such as that of Phoenix. It's so good all for the Rakdos Sacrifice matchup. Notion Thief also can counter any card draw effects from your opponent, as this one having this one effect, and a Lone Siege Rhino that can also be used against a mid-range or aggro deck that can also act as a threat on its own on that matchup. So I guess that's pretty much it for this deck. This is the Niv Mizzet Reborn. This is like quite a variance of the Omnat deck, but can still be very interesting to play in your local game store, even in MTG Arena. Or I don't think we have a Pioneer version of this yet, or sort of the Explorer version, but you can still see that you can have this one in your MTG Online and the LGS or in any major local tournaments that you have in your area. So I guess that's pretty much it for this video deck tech for Pioneer. We have Niv Mizzet Reborn again as a featured for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We can have more of soon of the discussion from the regional championships top decks and other updated builds as we explore again with the upcoming Lost Covers. So big salad. So again guys, thank you for checking on this video and see you on the next one.